What's up guys, Ernest from Langdon Tactical, and today we're going to talk about patterning shotguns and understanding the different types of ammunition that you may select and what they do on an actual target. One of the things that we find is a lot of people don't really understand what's coming out of the shotgun, and they don't really understand how that performs downrange, especially at closer ranges. So what we're going to do is go through a series of different shells and explain what they do. We're going to do birdshot, we're going to do regular buckshot, we're going to do a flight control or a controlled expansion buckshot, and we'll do rifled slugs as well. So first of all, let's talk about each one of those and why they're important and what comes out of the gun. Now, the first one we want to talk about is regular birdshot. Now, this is 1 1/8 ounce number 8 shot, which is a relatively small pellet, but extremely common when we start talking about birdshot. Very common size. So I'm going to carefully open this one up. I cut it open, and as you'll see, it's very small pellets. All right, very, very small pellets, lead pellets in this case, all right? And that's what's coming out of the shotgun. That's what's going at the target, okay? Now this is important as well. Inside of the shell is what's called a wad. So when this thing is going down the barrel, the majority of those pellets are inside that wad, and when it gets out into free space, these things open up and the pattern spreads. How that pattern spread is controlled by the choke tube, how tight that choke tube is. The second one we're going to talk about is regular buckshot. Now buckshot, this particular one is double-aught buckshot, but buckshot is typically a solid lead ball, if you will, and they are typically in the 32 to 33 caliber range in double-aught buck. Again, we're talking about 1 1/8 ounce or so of total load weight. Typically you have 9 of those pellets in a regular buckshot round, and it's being pushed out by a wad as well. This one's not going to come out very easily, but you can see it's down inside of that shell, and that cushions the shot when it's going forward. It try to prevent the pellets from deforming so that they fly a little bit better as the powder expands behind the shell. The next pellet we're going to talk about is more of a premium buckshot. This particular one is a Federal flight control. Couple of things that you'll notice right out of the gate with this one. There is a cushioning powder, if you will, inside there that kind of cushions the shot pattern as it comes out, helps control it, also prevents or reduces deformation, if you will, of these pellets. And this is a copper coated pellet, also improving flight characteristics. Again, this particular one is 9 pellet double-aught buck. But when we pull this wad out, we'll see that this wad is much tighter and smaller so that these pellets are more controlled in how they are inside the barrel. And then they stay together inside this wad for longer, making it a much tighter pattern at distance, keeping those pellets closer together for a much longer buckshot round. And the last one we'll discuss is a slug. This is a 1 ounce slug. So this is a very kind of devastating cartridge, if you will. It's a 1 ounce of solid lead, and this one goes down range very much like a rifle bullet. One of the things that a lot of people don't know is that the bullet actually, or the projectile in a shotgun, actually does make contact with the choke tube. So if you're trying to shoot very accurately with the slug, I'll typically find like an improved cylinder choke. It is a little bit tighter. It kind of smushes the slug down a little bit more, makes it fly a little bit truer, gives me a little bit better accuracy. But again, gives me more accuracy at distance. Now what we're going to do now is we'll take these down range, we'll shoot them in a couple of different distances real quick and give you an understanding of what these shells are doing as they are hitting the target. Okay, right here at about 6-7 yards is the distance that we're going to do this at. This is kind of across a big room in your house. 7 yards seems like it's close, but inside of your home, this is going to be relatively close. So you kind of need to understand that, all right? So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to shoot the regular birdshot here at about 7 yards or so. I'll load this one up first, and we're going to take a look at the pattern and then talk about what we're seeing there. All right. Okay. Very, very tight pattern. Okay. Very, very close. That big hole in the middle is probably from the wad. Okay. Now we're going to step over and shoot, or we won't step over. We'll just go over the next target. We're going to shoot regular buckshot really close here on the target. Okay. Again, very tight pattern, very, very close. And then finally, here at close distance, we'll shoot federal flight control. All right. Again, far right target here. Okay. Now, the thing that I think is important for you to understand is a lot of people think that the shotgun just hits everything out in front of it, and that is simply not true. Occasionally I'll hear people say, well, people shoot clay birds out of the sky. It's a really small target. Why do you need a red dot on your shotgun? Okay. The reason is, as you can see, I need to be very precise because at close distances, especially with high quality, high-end buckshot, I'm basically shooting a rifle, okay? That pattern is not opening up, so I need to be precise with it. And if I need to shoot a relatively smaller target or something that's exposing itself in a very small amount, having that precision is very important at these close distances. Okay, so we backed up to about 20 yards, so a really big movement from where we were before. So this is your long hallway all the way at the other end of the house or outside kind of situation. So we need to understand what our ammunition does at those different distances. So we're gonna go through the same shells that we had before, birdshot, regular buckshot, and flight control, and see how they pattern at distance. Okay, first one, regular birdshot here at about 20 yards, left target. Okay, regular buckshot, center target, again, about 20 yards. And then finally, flight control, again, about 20 yards. Okay, and just for fun, since we're at 20, I'm gonna throw the slug in here. I'm gonna come back to the far left target with birdshot on it. You'll understand why when we walk up and take a look at them. All right, let's go take a look. So again, we got our two different bird shots, okay? 7 yards, relatively tight pattern, pretty much everything in that 8-inch circle. But when we back up to 20, we've got a huge spread, likely several of them completely off the target. And let's be honest, probably neither one of them could be relied upon to be effective. If we go back down here, we can see the slug shot, very precise. One of them is the actual slug round, and the other one is that wad we talked about that's behind it. That's not really what we're concerned about. We're concerned about the slug itself. Regular buckshot, and this is really, really important here. Everything at 7 yards was relatively tight, but as we back up, we see these pellets start to really stretch out. We got one way over here, all the way out the side. This little dent, again, the wad, not something that we want to be concerned of, or not something that's going to really help us, if you will. So again, still a good job, but not very tight. And then we move over to flight control. Obviously at 7 yards, extremely tight pattern, almost a slug. Got to shoot this like a rifle. And then when we back up, I was a little bit left, but as you can see, I've got a really tight pattern with that flight control. Very effective, very controlled pattern. Again, this is the wad, not really what we're concerned about, just a piece of plastic. So there you have it, guys. We kind of wanted to walk you through this. It's very important that you pattern your shotgun. This is my personal 1301. It does what I know it's going to do. You need to go out to the range, shoot the different types of ammunition you plan on using, and check them at different distances. You probably need to have more information than this, meaning 5, 7, 10, 15, 20, 25. Back yourself up and really have a good understanding of what you're expecting the capability of that shotgun and its ammunition to do for you. Guys, if you have questions, drop them below. We'll get back to you. If you like this video, make sure you give us a like and a follow. Thank you.